productive few days, we have attached some old decking board along the bottoms and round the sides that we were given free, and it's been painted and all attached. This side bit was a bit awkward as the shed slopes, so it's flat on the ground, so we had to cut some of the decking board down to get it to fit. I've done round this side as well, just to finish it off and so you don't have a gap underneath the shed. And I've also put some an edging piece along, so it was a piece of moulding along there because there was a gap, just to tidy it up so it all fits in and there's no gaps anywhere. But yeah, it was a really productive few days. Right, so the interior is almost done. I've just got to put the last piece of tongue and groove in. So I've got this tongue and groove from Wix, and I've just got to cut the last, well, it's a piece and a half. I've just got to cut it down to fit in the gap up there and put in a couple of pieces to just to wedge off the corners. And then as you can see, I've put some shelves up around, and they were just pieces of pallet that I saved because they were quite nice pieces. A lovely piece here, and this is a nice piece here. Put one up above the window. As you can see, also got a blind. So this is from Dunelm, and it's called Tatton, and I really love it with the animals on. So yeah, it's just to finish the ceiling and put a couple of little shelves up somewhere. I haven't quite decided where they're going yet. So I've just got to cut this piece of tongue and groove down. long and grooving. Had to use a shelf bracket to just get under and give it a lever so it's slotted. So I'm just going to put some panel pins in like I've done with the rest just to stop it sagging, and I'm probably going to have to find some little bits of wood just to put in the corner and underneath because there is a gap. But yeah, that was a bit tricky. It involved a bit of sawing, which I've had enough of sawing now. So I'll just stick them panel pins in and the ceiling will be done. So the interior is all finished. So I've had to put my head torch on because it's going dark now. But everything inside is done. So I've just put 2 little shelves over in that corner. Filled in some of the gaps, but I'm not going to do them all. And my shelving is all done. Metal shelving, so I've got the 2 that I wanted, and I've painted the MDF shelves with some old paint that we found in the garage, about 20 odd years old, just to give it a bit of colour. So yeah, the next time you see this shed, it will all be decorated inside as well. So that's the shed finished, or the bothy. I hope you like it. It's been really fun to do. I really enjoyed it. So I'll take you around and show you what I did and what I spent on things and what I got for free. And yeah, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Right, so let's go through what the stages of doing this shed were. So the shed is an 8x6 premium pent shed from Shed City. So the pent means that it is higher at the front than it is at the back, so it slopes backwards. So when it arrived, my first job was to insulate the walls. So if you remember, I I had some of the silver like bubble insulation that I used to line the walls of the shed. And then the next job after that was I put boarding down on the floor. First of all, I got some like membrane insulation that went on top of the existing shed floor, and then I got some hardboard and put it over the top, just so that the shed floor would have a bit of spring when you walked on it or put stuff on it. It was a bit more stable. So after that, the original plan was going to be that I was going to line the inside of the shed along the walls with hardboard, and then it was going to be painted black along with the floor, and the ceiling was going to be boarded as well, and that was going to be painted like a magnolia colour. And then over the top of the walls there was going to be some Ordnance Survey maps. That was my original idea. As you can see, that didn't happen, and I'm glad. Deb came up with the idea after we'd seen it on the outside of the shop of cladding the walls with pallet boards. At first I wasn't struck on the idea, but then I looked on the internet and I saw people who'd done it in their kitchens, and I thought, you know what, that looks nice and it would probably work out cheaper, which it did, because all the pallets that we got were free. You can go on Facebook sales and there are people giving away used pallets for free. So we got all sorts from different places, and a shout out to Victoria Evans, who I know who gave us some. So yeah, I mean, and I absolutely enjoyed doing that. I think that was probably my favourite part of doing this conversion, was stripping down the pallets, cutting off any messy bits, sanding them down, and actually doing the walls with it. It is it's a job and a half, and it's not a job that you can rush, because you've got different thicknesses of pallet, you've got different widths of pallet boards, and you've got to make sure that they fit together and they are straight, so the next line can go on straight as well. And the different colours that you'll get out of the pallet boards. I mean, there's not many pieces in here that are all the same colour, and it really looks amazing. And that's another job as well, trying not to have too many of the same kind of shades of wood all together. So yeah, it was fun. It was really good. It was interesting. I mean, it was probably a couple of months' work doing it. The hardest part was taking the pallets apart, getting them to come apart without breaking too much of them, if they're rotted or anything like that. But yeah, it was great. And then once the Danish oil went on them, the colours of the wood just popped, and it really does look good. So yeah, that was the next job. And then after the walls, I painted the outside of the shed, which there was a weekend where I painted the shed and did some more stuff inside, and over that weekend how the shed looked just completely changed. It went from looking like a shed to something a bit more special. So yeah, we painted the outside of the shed, and then we started on the ceiling. Again, the ceiling was going to be hardboard, but then we realised that it would be really difficult to put hardboard on the ceiling. Obviously you couldn't put it up in one piece, because trying to fit it in the shed and getting it up, doing it in two pieces, how would you do it? So then again, Deb said, what about tongue and grooving? And I'm like, tongue and grooving, what do you mean? She's, the stuff that they have inside saunas. I was like, oh. But she went and showed it me, and I had a look on the internet to see what it looked like, and yeah, I was taken with it. Not so much right at the beginning, but once I put a few in, I could see what it was going to look like. The ceiling is a lot lighter than the rest of the shed, but that doesn't really bother me, because then you've got a sense of height. I think if it was too dark, it would look compressed down. So yeah, I do like the look of the tongue and groove, and that was really easy to do. The only difficult bit was doing the last couple of pieces over the door, because the last two pieces I had to cut down to like 1.5 width, and then try and get it in. So that was a bit difficult, but all in all, it was quite simple to do. Yeah, and obviously I painted the floor the same time that I painted the outside of the shed. And then it was finishing off bits. So it was just doing decorative bits lastly. So I'd kept some more pallets by, pieces of pallet that I thought looked quite nice, some rustic pieces. So I made some of the shelves out of those, and they've come up really well, really pleased with those. I didn't really want to buy too many new things to go in, so obviously buying shelves, what kind of style of shelf would you buy that would fit in? So that's why I kind of thought of making my own shelves. We got black brackets from Wix that really they just fit in. So yeah, that was about it really. Obviously I decorated the 2 storage boxes myself, got those cheap, made my own desk. Yeah, that's about it really. Obviously we changed the glass in the window for perspex just for safety reasons. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it, and it's hopefully going to be good to sit in here and do some work or just chill out. We've got a heater off Amazon, which is nice because yeah, it does get cold in here, so that really does help.